Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toplofty Lounge, episode 100. Can you believe it's been 100 episodes? That many. I can't believe it. Crazy. Conversations for the Elevated. Welcome to all my fellow snobs. I am your host, science fiction snob. This week on the program, we're gonna celebrate. It's 100 episodes. We're going to have a little look back at what we've done over the past 100 episodes, and hey, maybe talk a bit about what we do in the future, and we'll see how that goes. And then maybe we got some questions of a science fiction nature that people will want to jump in on and maybe come on the program and tell us what you think. Kind of a call-in thing. We'll see how it goes. All right, but before we get to that, let me introduce my co-host, the man who only looks like he's 100. It's Cam. Say hello, Cam.
Good evening, sci-fi fans, and thanks for those of you who have stuck with us for this very, very long run of shows, which will be ending tonight.
All four of you. All right. Welcome.
Yes,
And,
hey, let's say hi to the chat.
Let's say hi to the chat. Who's in that? Go ahead, Cam. You take it this time.
Sure. First in was Manjashir, which we all have trouble pronouncing that, and then James is here, as well as Dave, who is next. Dave might have been in more shows than anyone, even Weatherman, who is often here but hasn't been feeling well. So we wish him well, of course. And then it looks like Outpost Nerd has just come in. I think that's it. But we appreciate you all anyway.
We appreciate y'all. It says we got 6 watching right now. So that's 4. That's 4 taken care of. 2 hiding. That's okay. The chat says hi back. Hey, hi to you too. Right on. So Cam, what were you busy this week? What's been going
on? Hey PB. Welcome.
PB snuck in as well. There you go.
It's been, I don't know. I feel like I've been kind of busy. I honestly, like last week, I had something pretty much every night. Now, let's see. How many live streams am I on now? Going 4. I'm up to 4 a week at this point. And I don't want to make that sound like a bad thing, because I find it humbling that people are willing to tolerate me on their shows. So that's always nice to be invited. But it does take up, an evening. Basically, it's kind of hard to, it's not like, oh, well, I'll just do that for a while and come back. It kind of is the evening at that point. And then other various things, but feeling pretty good about it all.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I should point out that Madman has made this special 100th episode avatar for me here.
So, yeah, it's pretty swanky.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
You like that one, eh? Oh, well, right on. It looks nice.
Should I reveal my story about why I have this avatar?
Oh,
well, not this avatar, but my general avatar, of the professor from Powerpuff Girls.
If you want to, is that instead of the nudes you're going to put out, or was that?
I don't know what you're talking about, but in terms of the avatar, I had a different drawing that I thought was more representative of me, and for reasons I decided I shouldn't use it because of my paranoia about things. So I took something less accurate, because I don't really look like the professor from Powerpuff Girls.
No. Oh. You look exactly the opposite of that, or?
I wouldn't say the exact opposite.
You're a yellow-haired black woman?
No. I just said it wasn't. I just didn't look like this specifically.
Oh, okay.
My hair was never that dark, even in my younger days. But yeah, the tie is sweet, isn't it?
It's very nice, yeah. Unlike me, who I look exactly like my avatar. So
yeah. Right, even though it's not you.
Yes, but
it just looks like you.
It's happened to be. Yeah. Oh yeah, he really likes the tie. Oh yeah, Dave likes the tie. All right.
So anyway, so that was a really boring anecdote, as it turns out. I am sorry.
We'll work on that.
Mhm.
Is that so? That's it. Nothing else. Any other life things you want to mention?
Not that I want to mention.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right.
no.
That's okay.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh,
you know what? Sorry, this is. Have you run across any of these videos on the YouTubes? Like, the psychology of Gen Z, or stuff like that.
Not particular. I mean, not that I remember recently, but
okay, there was one. Oh, the one that I put in the Discord. Yeah, nobody responded to it. It was about. Hold on, maybe I should link it. Since we got a little time here, right?
We have time. We're gonna take it. We're gonna be chilling, taking it slow. Yeah.
Okay. Well, basically, it was about. It was. Oh, here it is. I will link it in the chat momentarily.
Yeah. Tell me which one it is, because
it's the one about people that buy tools.
Oh yes, the tools.
Because it was like, wow, that is painfully accurate to me, to my life. It was like me being under a microscope and being torn apart and analyzed. It was embarrassing, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it yet. I've been meaning to watch it, but I pretty much figured. I mean, I'm kind of figuring it's going to be about, it's not about the tools, right? It says that it's about the abilities that you'll have with the tools, right? The things you.
Yeah, it's a little bit more, a little more damning, I guess. It's like a midlife crisis kind of thing.
Oh, really?
According to, it's not mean. It's not mean spirited, but it's, I think there is some validity to it. There's a lot of AI slop in it, in this video, but the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's, the auto generated stuff is always pretty crap. But in any case, it's, the claims being made. It's like, I can see that's pretty, that's fair, so. And now, while I like to use tools, that's part of it. I definitely have more tools than I need, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's not really a midlife crisis thing if you've been doing it for 20, 30 plus years or whatever, right?
It's true. What you're saying is true, and the having tools, is something we've talked about on the show in our tool segments, right? It's like, yeah, you want to have some basic tools so you can, have certain capabilities. And that doesn't mean you're going to use them all immediately or ever. But this one was kind of more talking about someone who's more obsessive about it. Like the example they start out with is, a guy who's buying a pole saw, and he already has two other ones, right? That he doesn't.
Yeah, it's a better one.
Now, this even more accurately represents someone I know quite well, who has bought like machine tools. It's like he would buy like a table saw, right? Which is not cheap necessarily.
Yeah.
And then not use it and then be like, oh, I'm going to get this better table saw. It's like, that's pretty crazy. To buy some, like I buy a pair of pliers, right? It's like, I'm probably going to use those pliers at some point. And yes, I do have other pliers too, but it's not, I'm not generally buying like chisels. I don't have a ton of wood chisels because I don't have any need for them, or planers or things like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't typically stack things that I don't tend to use. But this is about, this video is a little bit more about that. So
I got a neighbor now. He's retired, but he was a small engine repair type guy, right? He built his own. I'll give you an example of how capable he is. This is a couple of years ago. He took like an ATV, like a standard ATV. Yeah, I mean it's got a canopy and everything, and he built it to push snow around. He put in, He put in a blade that can go up and down. He put in a bunch of electronics and stuff, and he did it for fun. Now, someone offered to buy it. I don't think he sold it, but
Well, where you live, that makes a lot of sense, though, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It makes a lot of sense. But I've been in his garage, and he has 6 different blowtorches, like different styles and sizes with different sized tanks, and 6 different ones. Like, I'm not a blowtorch guy. I don't know much about them, but I'm not sure how you would need 6 different ones.
Yeah.
But,
well, I agree, and now maybe if someone's like a professional welder and they're cutting metal and things like that with it, I think I'm sure
he does. He's doing some of that, right? Like he's doing that because he's a small engine guy. But I don't know, 6 of them. That's a lot.
Yeah, that does seem, for a non-specialist, that seems like a lot. But I on the other hand of all this, it's like, even I think I've mentioned this on some of the things. Even when I'm doing a small repair job, like a bike or assembling a bike or something, or whatever, it is surprising how many different tools you need. I think I mentioned this when I was doing my repair on my home heating system. It's like how many different tools and specialty tools I needed for what should be a relatively simple job, right?
Yeah.
So it does add up that way. But
I mean, how many times, I can't count the number of times I've started something that should be relatively an easy home repair job.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to go back to Home Depot or these places for like a couple times. Like you go and like, oh, I need this thing, and you go and get it, and you're like, oh geez, it's not the right one, or didn't fit, or now I need this other thing, or I broke something, now I got to get another piece, blah blah blah, right? Like it's just
right.
Yeah,
that's kind of a joke. Is every time it's like, how many trips to the home store am I going to need for this trip or for this job, right? It's like, if I get away with 3 or less, I consider it a success.
Yeah. All right, let me just answer some questions in the chat. The snow is blowing through the prairies. Yes. Let me just So last Saturday, I was out in town, Edmonton. My daughter goes to university. I was out, picking her up or doing something with her, taking some of her stuff home, that kind of stuff. It was 19 degrees Celsius. The university is a lot of young people running around. There were girls running around. I mean, there's a bunch of people running around, working out, and there were, women in sports bras and short shorts and stuff, right? That's last week. So now this week, so 6 days later, on Friday, Thursday night, Friday morning, we got like a foot of snow out of nowhere, and it was blowing. It was blizzard conditions. It wasn't that cold, but it was kind of colder. I think it was only like -5 or -10, something like that. But because of the snow was blowing in the wind, Highway 63, which is north of Edmonton, that goes to Fort McMurray. Fort McMurray is where the main town from all of major oil not refineries, various oil projects, the oil sands, all these projects go carry on from. So they're outside of that town and that in the various areas around there. So Highway 63 is this for some parts it's 2 lanes, one in each way, and needless to say, it gets a lot of traffic. It needs to be expanded and stuff. It's been on the books to do forever, but they haven't done it for whatever reason. But anyway, so there was about 300 people trapped in their cars Thursday night, Friday morning, because of the snow. Basically, I mean, it looked like summer. I almost took the snowblower off of my little snow tractor. I mean, not that I could use it on the snow anyway, because it's too wet and like it just clogs it up, and the next thing it's so heavy. But anyway, I was about to take it off, and then we get hit with like, I got a foot of snow. And yeah, it was brutal. The people in the towns were driving on the highways themselves to go and drop off food and gas for people who are stuck in their cars.
Wow.
This one lady was on did a TikTok or something. She goes, yeah, here I am in my thing, and we're trapped and stuck. And right next to me is this tow truck, and right next to him is this is a snowplow, and that's stuck too. So it's just chaos. nobody was died or anything like that. But
Oh, that's good.
yeah, it was pretty crazy. And once you get like that many people, like there's not enough tow trucks, so people are like, hey, we're trapped for like 16 hours, sitting in their cars waiting, that kind of crap. So it could have been bad, but yeah. All right, so that's the snow story. Yeah, and no effect on per se, other than my always a little tough to get in and out. It's a little crazy, but no, I didn't. No ill effects. Yeah, it's just it's April 24th or whatever, and it's freaking snowing. What the hell's going on? Though we've gotten snow on May 1st a couple times in the past 20 years I've been living here. So yeah. All right. What did I miss?
No,
tell that story. Cam, the only tool you need is the Iridium Q36 explosive space modulator. Sounds cool. Ming the Merciless for these strange weather patterns. It could be that makes sense.
Or Cobra.
Cobra and the Weather Dominator. Yeah.
All right. Well, should we delve into it?
So none of those things happened to me. I'm just saying that, but they did happen. They did happen to some other people. No, I didn't get to. I haven't. Friday was poker night.
Oh, how'd that go?
It went well for me. Overall, it went well. Everybody had fun. I think we enjoyed it. Now, it didn't go that well for me, but yeah. But we had fun. That's the important thing. I didn't lose too much money, and I didn't lose all my money. Some guys lost all their money, but no, we just play a little
Canadian money. Not worth anything anyway, right?
What's that? Canadian money? Yeah,
Canadian money.
It's not worth that much. Yeah, we play a little, home game. Some buddies, just for fun. So very low stakes. Hang out, shoot the shit, and play a little poker. But monthly, we try to go monthly.
Yep.
So yeah, it was good fun. But no, Snob is not. Can't quit the job or anything like that, unfortunately. But
boo.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's poker night this week. Yeah. That's about what else? Oh, yeah, that's. I went to one of those kid. The kid went to had a little. What's it called? Oh, these escape room type things.
Mm-hmm.
So we had that with a bunch of their friends, and I had to sit there and wait for them to finish that. But teenagers are a pain in the butt, I gotta say. Yeah.
Okay.
Department store. Yeah, I don't know if I should say any more on that, but ships from Neptune is coming in on Friday. What? Craziness. Yeah, crazy. Mr. Fusion accepts anything to convert to fuel. That's very handy to do that. Yeah. All right. So that's it. Anything else? I think that's all.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
What about your sci-fi snobbery, Cam? What have you been doing for that?
What have I been doing for that?
Do anything?
Well, if we count comics as sci-fi, then I guess I could say that I've been. I mentioned before the show to you that I've been some friends. I mentioned this old group of friends has been getting together to do some gaming, some in-person role playing, and
IRL. Wow.
Right. I know it's weird. It's weird, isn't it? And so, the game that we kind of wanted, it's like, well, let's play a superhero game, So we're trying out the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, which came out a few years ago. I saw it on the shelf a couple times. I'm like, should I buy this? I'm like, screw Marvel. But now I had to break down and buy, one of the books. So
yeah, I'm a big fan.
It's been interesting. You know what? It doesn't have a lot of it does have some of the crap, but it's not like, it's not giving you storylines and such. So it's not like all the old garbage. It's very much more like 90s, early 2000s kind of Marvel feel to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I played one of the, I've mentioned this before. Champions, the hero. It's called the hero system. Champions is the superhero version of it, and that's what started out. D6 only. Just chuck a whole ton of dice. But yeah, that was my favorite superhero one, and your imagination is the limit on that one. Lots of fun doing that, and some interesting rules like if you want to do a speech times do his soliloquy so they don't do anything. I punch him in the face. Nope, you can't until he's done his speech. So yeah, lots of you can do almost anything in the system, and I enjoyed that system. I haven't tried this Marvel one, but I did mention I tried the Marvel one when it was like 30-40 years ago. Whatever, but yeah.
Well, it caused me to pull out my other. I have two other Marvel games. The classic TSR one that you're talking about. I don't have the first version. I have the advanced version, which was a lot better. Manager says your mic is going in and out.
Is it really?
It sounds okay to me.
That's strange. All right. Well, I was okay. Let me sit a little closer.
Outposter says as well.
I'm going in and out.
I wonder if it's our feed out that's the problem.
Yeah.
But let me talk for a minute and see if it does the same thing, and we'll check.
I haven't been noticing for you, but let's go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, I busted that out, and I didn't have nearly as much as I thought. I have the basic, I should say the advanced set, and then there was an X-Men campaign set that I had, and then I had. You remember? I don't know if you remember the Marvel Universe comics, where it was basically it's like files, for all of the Marvel characters they had at the time, and they put out a version of that for the game, which is really cool because you got stats for hundreds of characters and everything. Right. And I've got I think 3 of the 4 of those. But that was about it, unfortunately. But then there was this other system that came out in about 2003. This kind of strange one. I've got the basic book and the X-Men book for that. Never played it. It seemed okay, but superhero games are one of those things that it's like I enjoy reading, even if I never play them, because it's like, oh, that's the you could put numbers to the heroes and stuff. It's kind of fun.
And the hero system, of course, they don't have a DC or Marvel to back them up. But they made up their own guys. But it is kind of interesting to see, how does Spider-Man rate against what they think, that sort of thing. Don't shoot your load too soon. That's always good advice.
I guess it's your audio that sucks. So they said mine is
that's weird. I'm same setup as normal.
Well, maybe I didn't notice it because I usually ignore what you say.
That could be. I sound. I want to make sure I'm on my right microphone. I'm using the right microphone. You can hear pretty good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds okay to me. Anyway, okay. Well, let's keep on. Make sure you keep on telling Snob that it's bad if it is.
So that way he keeps trying to fix things and it never works. Yeah, that's
right. Maybe this is a subtle way of saying they don't like listening to you.
Maybe. All right.
Anyway, so that's what I did that I can kind of say was sci-fi-ish, So.
Well, I started to flexing Canadian electricity. No, it's pretty stable here in Alberta.
Yeah, that metric electricity, you can't trust it.
Oh yeah. It's not as clean, eh? Yeah. Well, I've been, recently I just started reading The End of Eternity, an Isaac Asimov short book from first published 1966. Some of the old classic stuff. Good book. Good book. Oh, I sound solid now. All right, good. That's good. Maybe I was speaking a little quieter or something. I don't know. Who knows what's going on? Yeah. So what else have I done? Did I do? I don't think. Well, I've been keeping up with the Venture Brothers, watching an episode a night ish. We should maybe talk about them sometime. I was thinking we do a show about, maybe a bunch of about various. I'm calling them adult cartoons, but they're not, triple X.
Yeah.
But for adults, maybe that would be a future show we could do. Which that segues nicely into today's topic that we want to talk. We're just taking it easy, chilling, but we wanted to go over, talk about some of the shows we've done over the past 100 episodes and what you guys would like to see us cover in the future.
Or not cover anime.
Or not cover anime. Yeah, well, we got to talk. There's some good anime. You still got to talk about that. But
I like it, but maybe it's just not for this audience, and
maybe not. Anyway, so where did you want to go? Start with that, Cam. Do you want to go over? Do you want to talk? I mean, the easiest thing to talk about is movie night.
Sure.
You want to talk about what movies we? I went.
Do you have a list?
I dug up the list.
Hey, Weatherman's here. Welcome.
Hey, Weatherman. Good to see you. Oh, sorry to hear you're got a massive migraine. Glad you're here though. Glad you're here. Hopefully we can entertain you, and you can maybe you'll forget about your troubles for a little. Yeah, I was just going over the list of all the movies. I think I have them in the right order.
Okay. How many have we?
I might have missed a few. How many we done? Well, 100 episodes. Every 4 episodes or so should be about. Let me see. Well, we didn't start it right off the bat. 1, 2.
Okay.
I got 17. I was counting quietly.
17 movie nights. Wow.
Yeah. 17.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We started about. I can't remember. We start. We started in. I think we were 15, something like that. 17 shows.
Oh, you know what? We needed a listicle.
Listicle. Heavy Metal the movie. I don't know. Well, it's really 3 movies. It was one of the ones we did cover a heavy metal like movie. Okay, so let's talk. What do you want me? I'll read them all off first.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'll read them off, and I think these are in the right order from like first to last. The Black Hole, Megaforce, Logan's Run, THX 1138, which is of course your namesake, Rock and Rule, which you didn't like, but it grew on you eventually.
No, I grew to love. Yes,
grew to love. Tron, Excalibur, Akira, Fantastic Four, the unreleased version, Dragon Slayer, Flash Gordon, Planet of the Apes, Damnation Alley, Outland, Amazon Women on the Moon, and of course, last week, 2010. So those are our lists. That's 17, I think.
Okay, this tells you how old I am, because some of these I'm like, oh, we did that like about 3 weeks ago, right? And it's like, oh, that was a year and a half ago. Jeez.
Yeah. It was a while ago.
That's not a bad list overall.
Not bad. And I'm curious to hear what the chat thinks about movie night. So hey, say something in the chat if you enjoy movie night, if it's a good idea. I like it. I would like to keep going on with it. I just think the biggest thing about it is picking the right movies. But even if you pick the wrong movie, Amazon Women on the Moon, it can still be fun.
Well, here's the thing: is typically when someone's like movie night, what the downside of it, I think, is that I'm not sure how much interaction we get with the audience, whether they watch it. Sometimes they do, or not. But I think it would be better, and the chat can let me know, is if we were able to interact with them more about it, because usually we just kind of go full bore reviewing and going on long stretches, and I think it would be more interesting if we were the more audience participation. Hey, Death Angel Shadow, thanks for coming.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, I agree. We just we'd have to be more cognizant of that. Movie nights are good. Whoops. There we go. Are good, with some being far superior to others here. Well, what makes it superior or not superior? Is it the quality of the movie, or is it the quality of the hosts and how we attack the movie?
Well,
I do think sometimes we talk too much about what happens in the movie as opposed to what we think of this and what we think of that. I think we should assume that people watch the movie because of the list here, I think pretty much almost every single one, if not all of them, are available online for free, which is what we try to do. I try to get a movie you can just watch on the Internet Archive or something like that.
Well, just off the top of my head, I think what would be ideal is if we spent. I think you're right. We spend a lot of time just going over the details of what happened, and if we had, ideally, we would have everybody who watches the show watch the movie first, and so we don't really need to explain all that much. It would just be what we want to comment on in each thing, and then have people joining in for a segment or something, or in the chat too. That's fine, where they could bring up points and say, I like this, I like that, and then we would discuss these things back and forth a little more.
Yeah.
Personally, that's what I think would make for a better show.
Yeah. Well, and we want to hear your comments, guys. Put your comments in the chat. Whatever. Say, is Cam right? Is he wrong? Do you agree with that? Is that
movie night needs to continue. And then, of course, Dave said that some better than others, which is and ideally, you could have a good time discussing a bad movie, right? I mean,
you can, some movies are so bad that they're good, right?
True,
or at least fun to talk about.
But some are so bad that it makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, I think Saturn 3 is on my list already. I think. I don't know if I have Space Hunter or Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, but I do have a list of a bunch of movies. Let me, I should just pull that up, and I can go over some of them. And I think next time, Cam, we're going to do. You said you wanted to do. What was the next one you wanted to do?
We talked about. What the heck's the name? Is it? It's the one with the fake Mars mission, right?
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, what? I can't remember. Hold on.
Skates Maids. Let me check my
list.
Hold on.
It
wasn't an Andromeda Strain. It was
no. I can't believe I can't remember this. Is it?
All right. Well, we'll get it. But was it
Capricorn 1? Capricorn 1.
Capricorn 1. Yeah. Of course. There it is. Capricorn 1.
Yeah, that's. Okay, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, so a couple of I'll go over Capricorn 1. Dark City. Did we do Dark City? I've seen Dark City.
We did, didn't we?
I think. We talked.
I know we had an episode where we talked about it, but it might have been
because we were talking about like underrated sci-fi movies.
Okay.
So that's what it goes. Zardov. Oh, Jeff, don't tell Jeff. So
yeah, shut up, Jeff.
Okay, so I do have Zardov on my list. Forbidden World. Oh, Battle Beyond the Stars. We already did that. Forbidden World. Phase 4. The Man Who Fell to Earth. Westworld. Capricorn 1. Andromeda Strain. Soylent Green. Rollerball. Oh, we did Outland. The Dark Crystal. I think was one that we got to get on there. Ice Pirates. Hangar 18. Battle Beneath the Earth. The Green Slime. These ones here are some of the more less well known ones. 5 million Years to Earth. When Worlds Collide, Earth versus Flying Saucers. These are a bunch of banned movies that got banned in various places. Lawnmower Man, Brazil, They Live, Evil Speak. Those are kind of the the more weirder ones. The first ones I read off are the more usual stuff, and that's on the list. Yeah, Dark City. We did talk about Dark City though, because we talked about it. We could do a whole episode on it, but Battle Beyond the Stars, we already did that one. Battle Beyond the Stars, Buckaroo Banzai. Yeah, that would be good.
Iron Sky.
Oh, I've seen it. It's great. Nazis on the Moon. That's Nazis on the Move. I don't have Iron Sky on there. I can put it on. I saw it. It's pretty, it's fun. Buckaroo Banzai. I'm surprised I don't have that on there. I don't have it. Yeah. RoboCop. Well, you see, I mean, we could do RoboCop, Cam. But we try to go with things that are a little less well known. I mean, or a little older than RoboCop. I mean, we could do it. So that's what we're trying to focus on, those kind of stuff. That's why we're doing, we would do something like Planet of the Apes, which would be very popular, but it's like 70s as opposed to RoboCop, which is like what, late 80s, early 90s, late 80s. But
80s,
we could do RoboCop easily. See, like Arrival is a good movie, but again, it's so new. We're trying to focus on stuff that people might not have seen or haven't seen for a long, long time. It's things that are a little less well known. And I mean, that's not completely true because, of course, some of the movies on there are very well known, like Andromeda Strain, Soylent Green, fairly well known popular movies at the time. But because they're so old, we throw them on there. But yeah. But yeah, we're looking for Forbidden Planet. Did I say that? Forbidden World. No, Forbidden World's different. That's a different one. How come I don't have Forbidden Planet on there? All right, well, let's just Forbidden Planet. Add that to the list. Them. Do I have them on there? No, They Live. Them. Yeah. We're always looking for good.
Oh, The Thing. That's a great suggestion.
The Thing? Is that old enough?
Oh, yeah.
John Carpenter's The Thing. Like, that's kind of the RoboCop. But, I mean, you could.
That's like early 80s, isn't it? Or
is it? We can do, we can do whatever we want. But,
yeah, the 50s, The Thing. Yeah.
We could do it. I mean, it would be kind of interesting to do the 50s version, right? Day of the Triffids. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of good stuff. Yeah. Let us, drop them in the chat now. I mean, drop it in any of the other. I read all the comments, even the hateful ones. Drop them in the chat if you want it, on the Discord, wherever. I'll in it. The Thing was from The Thing was from 1982. Yeah, the early 80s. Yeah, it's a good movie. That's a good movie. Yeah. All right. Anything else about movie night you want to mention, Cam?
No.
Okay. All right. What about our past shows?
Well,
These last 100 shows.
Okay, so a show that we started off pretty strong with. Well, I think we originally intended as a segment, and it became a show, which was the Is It Sci-Fi, right?
Right.
And I actually like those shows, and thought they were good discussions in general, but we also kind of run out of, or at least run out of ones long. I mean, obviously you could go through any IP and say, is it or isn't it, but I don't know. There's a whole lot to discuss for most of them. It's, we kind of hit the ones that are on those edges to have the debate about it.
Yeah. And you want to hit the ones on the edges. Like, you can't go and, pick something like it's completely obvious and say, is it science fiction? And everyone goes, yeah, of course it is. Right. I mean, Star Trek, is that science fiction? Yeah. Okay. Right. Next question. So you got to find the things on the margin. And we did pull a lot of the stuff on the margins. G.I. Joe, James Bond. What else did we do?
One of our more watched shows, the James Bond one, as I recall.
Yeah. Everyone likes James Bond. Yeah. So we did that. We dug around for those, and we kind of lost. If anybody has any suggestions about, various IPs or whatever are they science fiction? And they got to be sort of edge cases, because otherwise it's not worth, it's not worth discussing. It's too obvious. But yeah, we ran out. But I'm always on the watch. If anybody wants to, if something comes up, we want to talk about those. Yeah, we can do those. That was we started out strong in that, but of course ran out of topics. What else did you? Any others?
Like main segment. Well, I mean, we have the tool segment. If we're talking about segments, whether I don't know what are the other major show topics that we have done. I mean,
okay. Well, I've got categories. I got a few.
Okay, yeah.
I got a few here. I can sort of throw them into So we did a couple on science fiction in general. We did sort of like, the history of science fiction, pulp science fiction, defining it and looking at it a little bit, that kind of stuff. So there was a couple of shows in there where we did that. And then there was a kind of, a bunch of shows which are usually fairly popular where we talk about, underrated science fiction movies, the ladies of science fiction. That was a little bit of a,
Perfect.
I like that one. Underrated sci-fi movies, that kind of stuff. We did a couple of shows on a little bit of tech, looking at some science fiction tech because that was related to tools. And then, of course, we also did one on the tech of Star Trek, some of the Star Trek tech. So, that's kind of various areas we did. Am I missing anything? Types. This kind of fits in with the history of sci-fi. Types of science fiction. We talked about, dystopia versus cyberpunk for all the different, not all of them, but many of the different types. And then there's a bunch of one-offs in there. We talked about Superman when there was Superman movie came out, that kind of stuff. Talked about Dune. I did a show on the 6 novels. I think you like the key novels for science fiction. You gotta read, from the old times. Yeah, hidden gems, that kind of thing.
We have
stuff that is good that nobody knows about, or you might not know about, that kind of stuff.
I guess, has the show strayed away from the core, not strayed away, but just gone on to other things from the core of, what your original premise, which as I understand it, for your channel is, which is really more classic sci-fi novels and things, right? I mean, is that not fair to say that was kind of your original focus, was to encourage people to be reading classic sci-fi?
Yeah. Well, part of it was because I look around at all this new sci-fi and I go, who the hell are these freaking authors? I'd never heard of that guy. Who are these crazy people? They don't even know how to write. And so I would look at the current crop of sci-fi readers, and you wouldn't see much of the classics on there. The Asimov, Herbert, that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to bring those to the forefront. But it's not always interesting talking about books, right? Books are kind of can be boring to look at. But that was the idea of the channel, not necessarily the show. I mean, that was I didn't want this to be a book review. That is the idea of the channel, to get people, to really have them, notice, realize some older science fiction that is really, really good. Better than the crop of today's science fiction, for various reasons. There's a lot of, people who don't know there's problems in publishing right now, right? It's, I don't want to be too sexist, but women have basically taken over publishing, which is why there's a lot less novels towards young boys and men. A lot of that's where you get the romantasy, right? Romance type fantasy, like your fantasy, your Tolkien, where your fantasy stuff would sit. A lot of it is now this romance fantasy. It's like elves, but it reads like a Harlequin romance novel, but with elves and stuff.
Right.
And
it's furry crap. Let's be honest.
Yeah, partly. I mean, yeah. So you've got all these women in publishing, and they're publishing books that women like. And then when men don't buy the books, they say, and women are mainly buying books, they say, "See, men aren't reading. Men are stupid. Men aren't reading."
Yes, we slapped we slapped you in the face and said you're an idiot and you're not buying our product.
Yeah. And so let's make more books for women. No, because they don't make books for men. That men don't read this crap that they put out. So that's part of the problem in publishing. And I like to, if anybody knows anyone who's in publishing, I'd like to get the dirt on this. Another thing I found is that publishing about 10, 15 years ago, they went into the LGBT DEI pretty hard. And the rumor
never left.
Yeah, if you talk to some of the like Larry Cordera and stuff, and some of these guys who publish independently, they say that, you know, I've heard people say that you can't get anything published unless you've got some LGBT something in there. And I don't know that it's true. I wanted to talk to people and find out. But I have noticed there's a great. I started reading this science fiction series, three series book, and you know, I gave it a try. It was all right. And the first book, the story was I've told this story before, but the story was going on fine, no problem. The storyline was, you know, corporation. They actually they found a like it's basically they built a machine to put to access another dimension, sort of like a sort of kind of a null dimension, you know, like a fourth dimension that was just sort of, you know, nothing was there. And so they were using it to they were selling these it to governments and corporations. So you basically you took your pollution and you sent it through there into this nothingness, right? So it was like no pollution, right? Good idea, maybe, right? But then this astronaut, Russian astronaut, circling the Earth disappears, like just disappears, and so the government sends these two scientists. They, you know, recruit them, the usual thing, bring in these expert scientists, a male and a female, and they go to this, you know, this corporation. They're going to investigate what's going on, right? So of course the head of the corporation is the bad guy, and he is you know, oh, everything's fine, blah blah blah. I mean, you know, imagine you developed a new way to go to like another dimension. It's kind of like teleporting your pollution to somewhere. And the first thing you do with it is just teleport pollution. Like it seems like all kinds of other cool things you could do with it. But anyway, so they invest into the lead scientist who she's willing to you know, blow a whistle on her, you know, the boss, because they're up to, you know, up to good. She had to be a black female. Now, her race and her sex doesn't matter to the story. None of the race and sex of anybody in the story matters, because it's not about that. It's about, like, it's just, you know, it's kind of the story you'd expect. But at some point, she, you know, she gets some sort of secret information. She goes to meet these other, and of course the CEO's henchman, his head of security thug. Oh, my audio's acting up again. Oh, damn. You know, goes to you know, threaten her and that kind of thing. And at that point, there's an interaction, and part of what she says is like, "Oh, it's because I'm a black woman" or something like that, right? And I'm like, "Whoa, where'd it come from?" Like right out of left field. There's nothing in this book about anything about and the gender and the race of any of the characters. Doesn't matter. It's not germane to the story. But all of a sudden, you know, the character comes out with this, you know, big bombshell, and then it's not mentioned again. Like and I'm like, what is going on? Why is this? Why did the person put this in the book? Because it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with DEI or any of this other stuff. And it just came out. And so my theory is that, you know, you're not getting published by the mainstream publishers unless you've got some of that something in there. You've got to have some LGBT something in there. And so this guy threw it in a lot, you know, he's like, oh, all right, here you go. Now I can get published. I don't know if it's true or not, but I would be curious to find out. But yeah, I'm getting a little off topic, but yeah, so, you know, that's not what I want in my, I mean, I don't, if you want to bring race into and sexism and that kind of stuff into your book, you can do it. It can make sense, right? There's lots of science fiction stories where we meet some other weird race of aliens and we fight, or we've got negative feelings about them, or they have about us, or they want to kill us, whatever. That works, right? But, you know, this stuff that they're doing in modern publishing is it's garbage.
Well, it would be interesting even if someone, you know, it's like, oh, a sci-fi thing where it's about an alien race that is very supremacist, right? I mean, that's certainly a sci-fi kind of thing. It's like,
lots of stories like that.
Sorry, can't have that sort of story. It's got to be literal. in case their pea-brained audience might miss it.
Cam, there's countless science fiction stories where we meet an alien race and they look down on us.
Sure.
Countless ones, and it usually happens. The plucky humans.
Yeah, Star Trek, because those damn Vulcans.
Yeah, the plucky humans fight back and eventually win. But see, Weatherman, publishing is a point system. If you don't have enough points, you get passed over. Alphabet and woke stuff gives a lot of points in the system. I mean, I believe it, and that's what I've been hearing, but I don't have any proof of it. I'd like to look into it further. But it just destroys. I mean, it destroys good writing. But there's lots of old stuff that you can read, and that doesn't have any of that crap. The stuff I grew up reading in the 70s and 80s, stuff from the 50s and onward. Some great books. I might do. I was thinking about this idea, Cam. Maybe, this wouldn't be a show or anything. It would be something maybe I'd pop up, and I would do maybe a live stream. Come in and tell me what science fiction books you like, and see if I can suggest something similar to that you might not know about. Or just come and say, hey, I want a good dystopian book, or something with this and that, and maybe I can dig in my brain and find something older that you might not know about that you might enjoy. It worked for who did it work for? Who's reading? Is it? No, it's who did I get reading? He's on the Discord. I got somebody reading some of David Brin's stuff, the Uplift series, and he's going to read the Uplift War, which is, in my view, is the best book of the Uplift series. And he's like, "Oh, I gotta read something else first." And I go, "Too bad. It's the best book. It's really good." So yeah. So maybe we could do that, but we'll see. All right. Well, that's a long-winded way of talking about. That was the core of the channel when I first conceived of it, some 6 years or whatever it was ago. That was the idea. So I do have a bunch of book reviews on there from some very good books. I should do more, but you can check those out. And it's still kind of what we're doing, but we do talk about movies and other things. Yeah.
Okay.
Audio better, I hope. Yeah.
Well, it's been fine for me the whole time. It hasn't been cutting out for me.
All right. The Day the Earth Caught Fire. There's some good movies too that have come out recently that are in the last 5. Not all of them are crap. There's some good science fiction movies out. There's the British one. I think it's called. I haven't seen it yet. Attack the Block. I've been meaning to see that one. I think it's called Attack the Block. Have you heard of that one, Cam?
No.
It's a British one. It's got I think it's got John Boyega in it.
He's a dick.
From before he was in Star Wars, I think. Anyway, it's a bunch of British, gang type kids, and some alien lands, like aliens crash in their block and start shooting people, and these kids go after it to capture it, kill it, type of thing. So it's actually, it's kind of a funny story. I think, imagine if an alien crashed in the worst part of Detroit or an LA gang area, and the gang members all got together and hey, this alien's killing our people, we're gonna take them out, right? That kind of thing. So no, you're not impressed with that. You don't think that's a good?
No. I'm thinking about something else. I'm thinking about. I'll say this. Just other kinds of shows people might like after we go through the ones we have here, because one that we talked about we never really did, but maybe it's more of a channel thing, not this show kind of thing, involving gaming stuff. But anyway, so what are the other categories of shows that we've done, regularly?
Yeah, well, I think I covered most of the general. I mean, like I said, there's a bunch of one-off stuff. but I think I covered most of all of it. We have a sort of a bunch of stuff about science fiction in general.
Yeah. Well, okay. Can I go ahead and mention these?
Yeah, like I said, the history of science fiction. What is pulp science fiction, types of science fiction, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess types. Is it science fiction? History of science. That's kind of all in the category of classic. Classic science fiction, right? Or not classic science fiction, but promotion and discussion of science fiction.
Yeah, I see those two. as separate because like, is it science fiction is one as there's both. It's the same area. Is it science fiction is kind of one area, and then we talked about, like you said, like they were kind of like history lessons in a sense, right? Like where did science fiction start? What were the first science fiction novels? The history of it, that kind of stuff. That kind of informative to the audience, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Did you mention Colossus in your list? The Forbidden Project?
No, I must have missed that one.
That's
18.
That's Colossus. A movie night. Well, that's a great one.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Okay, well, what I was going to bring up is, well, we've kind of had arguments / debates on like the Dune thing, for example, right? Which wasn't, it wasn't is it sci-fi? It was kind of a deep dive on. I know. Well, we didn't actually intend to do that, right? We were just talking about Dune in general, the 6 books that you were talking about.
Right.
We were 6 books. I think we did that, but I think you've mentioned maybe the possibility of doing more of a deep dive on a certain topic and having some other, not just you and me, but having someone who knows about the particular topic and going in, on that. But kind of not a formal debate, but like a discussion of opposing ideas.
Yeah, I would like to do that. It'd be nice to bring in, occasionally a guest from somewhere else. Helps expand our reach and with everybody. And I actually like those topics the best. Where we just like, for me, that's my favorite. Like your question about Leto. I think those are very interesting. It's kind of in the same view of, is it sci-fi, but a little bit different.
I don't think that's at all the same as, is it sci-fi?
Well, it's same in that it's a discussion.
Sure.
Same. The format is similar. But I like those. Like some of those questions I find are the most interesting. I just need to find them. It's kind of hard to find them.
Sorry to interrupt. Weatherman said he's not feeling good and he's going to take off, but he left you with a membership. So
thanks,
thank you,
Weatherman.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it. And who got that? Suns and Shadowcast. Hey, congratulations. A name I don't think I've seen before. Welcome. All right. Glad to have you here.
Well, hopefully get a notification and then check out the channel.
Open question. Could you consider the Bible as sci-fi?
I would not.
That might be the whole, is the Bible fiction? That could be, that could get some people upset with, but that's the kind of thing. I don't know if I want to touch that one, but
that's a different channel.
That's a different channel. But I do like those deeper questions, and you can get some good ones and have some good discussions. But they are for, that's for real fans of science fiction who know a little bit about it, not the casual person. But hey, that's what we should be getting on this channel anyway, right? We should be getting the more, not the casual sci-fi lovers, but
yeah, the snobs, if you will.
The snobs, if you will. Yes.
Well, okay. Another thing is we talked at one point about, like I just happened to, I'm looking at your channel here. You talk about 4X games, but not that specifically, but we had mentioned at one point, okay, you're doing game review, like board game reviews or something, or even board game playthroughs or something of that nature. Now that might not be necessarily for Toplofty. The review might be, but not necessarily a playthrough. But then that gets into,
it could be just on the channel. Like everything doesn't have to be on this show, but it just doesn't seem that we get, you guys, tell me in the chat if you're interested in that sort of thing, because we usually like there are certain topics we do that get that are really dead.
Anime.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, right now,
Noticeably.
yeah, right now we're sitting at our kind of our normal amount of viewers. It's 10 to 15 is kind of our usual live viewers for a show. But if we do something like
I think I'd break out the champagne if we had 15 on the show.
no, we've had 15.
We've had them, but it's not normal. We were usually sitting around maybe 10.
Superman is science fiction. Yeah, but we've done some topics like we're probably gonna do the digital circus next week. But the last time we did it, we had 3 people watching.
Yeah,
so it was not very popular.
Yeah,
but we like it. We might do it anyway. But we're trying to find a happy medium between what you, the audience, likes and what we like.
Well, that's what. Here's a hard question, right? This going in the truth telling is we do have some regular viewers, right? And you guys can answer in the chat. Do you guys say, no, this show is just not for me. I don't give a crap about it. I'm not watching it. Meaning I'm not saying everyone should always be here all the time. No one's ever like that for a show, but are there ones where you specifically say, nah, just not for me. I'm not interested. I'm not watching. I imagine there are,
or you say, hey, that's cool. I want to know something about that. I want to talk about it.
Well, for example, we have someone that seems to come in only for the digital circus episodes, right?
Yeah. And they're the only one.
Yeah, right. Which is strange. But
that's okay. We'll convert them.
Right. I mean, tell us, are there anybody in the chat? Is there a show that you were just like, nah, not for me, I'm not interested? And if it is, Nate, say what it was. Because again, we're kind of it's not like we're, it's not like we're a political channel or something where it's like, well, today we're talking about, congressional elections or something, where it's like, oh, I'm just not interested in that. It's all entertainment essentially that we talk about.
Yeah.
It's just different kinds of entertainment. So I think Weatherman's mentioned that it was an anime that he didn't like, that it's, he's just like not into anime, I think. My idea of anime is Space King. Yeah. Okay. No, okay.
It's not anime, but it's animated.
It's animated, yes.
Anime was kind of
get a chick on as a guest. That's a good idea.
Jill was on 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
Where were you? What are you talking about? We did have a chick on.
Well, how many female viewers do we have?
Often we have 0.
Yeah. So,
except for Gojira's a girl, and she watches sometimes.
Dave,
I think we had one other.
Well, Green Girl used to be here from Jason's channel, and Gojira never really has watched Toplofty though, has she?
Oh no, she hasn't. Okay,
I don't think so. Maybe she might have been here once in a while.
Maybe once or twice. Maybe she's on the Babylon 5, but. Yeah, that's I've checked my stats, and often I'm like, oh, let's see, what our audience is like, and often it was like male 100%.
James, I don't have a closet. I have a dressing room.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm really fancy that way. Dave,
you're not into anime and board games. Listen, there's some good I'm not generally into anime either, but there are some good. I mean, I like good stories, and there is some great animated stories out there, and I think we need to highlight them. If maybe we can convert you. Like, what about what's Kim likes Gotcha Man? What else? The Battleship Speed Racer,
Yamato.
Battleship Yamato. I mean, there's Star Blazers. Yeah, there's some good stuff out there.
Okay, this is an interesting question, Dave. I'd like to pick your brain a little bit. Do you specifically not like anime, like Japanese anime, or do you not like animated stuff at all? Because there's been other people that I know they're like, oh, it's animation, I just don't like it. It's something about an animated thing versus live action they just don't like. So
yeah. There's some good animation out there, and remember, until the last 20, 30 years when CGI became really became very good. I mean, it was the only way to do a really good science fiction visual medium, and showing a movie, it'd have to be animated, because there's no way you could film these giant vistas with tons of spaceship battling around. It would have been until Star Wars, that stuff was impossible to do. But you can do if you're doing it cartoon, you can draw whatever you want. It doesn't matter, right?
Mhm.
So there's a time where if you wanted to do that kind of space opera style of a movie or TV show, you had to do it animation, because otherwise it would be prohibitively expensive. It'd be impossible.
Yeah. Hmm.
But anyway, yeah, Dave, tell us. What is it? Is it just I don't like?
Okay.
All right, here we go. I like animation, but when manga came in, it just didn't seem like it was for me. For manga, excuse me, manga. Cam, you're a little more knowledgeable with this.
In my mind, I don't draw that much of a distinction, and maybe it's because of what you said. I watched Battle of Planets when I was young. I watched Speed Racer when I was young. These were anime, kinds of things. So they mixed together early for me, with regular American animation.
Yeah, like Battle of the Planets it's based on a Japanese manga and a Japanese animation, right? I think it's animated. Right. So it's it's got that same style, but it's an American version of it, which is you can see the Japanese roots in it, but people seem to like seem to like it growing up. I don't know.
Well, see, okay, there's that, but then there's there is today's kids probably don't make that distinction either. Maybe they do, but like in the late 80s or early 90s, it's like anime was weird. It was a lot weirder. It was very distinctive feeling. And today it doesn't seem that way to me. Like it's like if I watch a modern manga, it doesn't seem like a whole separate category almost. I mean, it is, but it doesn't feel as foreign. And I don't mean foreign like another nation. I mean foreign as in weird.
Well, I think part of that is the there's the present day writers, or the ones for the last 10 or 20 years, have seen both American and Japanese style animation. So there's been a mixing of it. Japanese are more they've been exposed to American animation and vice versa. Okay, so now it's a little more
a good example of that is My Hero Academia, right? It's kind of anime for normies, a lot of people say, and it's the author was very influenced by old X-Men stuff, and hero stories. So to me, that stuff, there are certain Japanese themes in it that are different from American themes. Like the licensing in that, it's like, oh yeah, this is great, this is a positive thing here, right? And then you have the Marvel Civil War thing, which is all about resisting licensing, so those are very different cultural things. But in general, that seems like something that would appeal to someone who likes X-Men would like that too. A normie person, not someone who's like super hardcore on a certain particular thing in American comics. Yeah. But that might just be me again. Maybe I just see them as similar. I was here for the young lady. For Jill. Yep.
Yeah, Jill knows her stuff, man. She's a big Star Trek fan.
Yeah, and she had actual thought put into it, unlike me.
She did put a lot of thought into hers. Yeah, I mean, she's thought about.
I pride myself on just blathering off the cuff,
winging it. Do it live.
Right.
Man Jashir hates everything Star Wars. Well,
have you always hated everything Star Wars, or it's just more recent?
It's crazy. Star Wars was so popular. I mean, I don't like the modern stuff. The last 10 years or plus, they've killed it. Yeah. But I mean, there's some good, there's some good stories back there. I mean, A New Hope and Empire are both good movies. Some really good science fiction.
Well, interesting. Dave mentions we could have Death Angel Shadow on as a guest more. And yes, Peter and he did seem to hit it. Here's the thing about Jeff. Jeff seems to hit it off with almost everybody, right?
Yeah, he's just too nice, and it just
He's
makes
an
everybody look bad.
affable, amiable guy.
Yeah, he just makes it look bad. And he's on Babylon 5 show all the time, so that's about as much as I can take.
Yeah, well, I was telling him earlier, I said Snob hates Jeff so much he doesn't want to be on this show.
That's right. I don't want anyone. Well, that's not true. Just Jeff. No Jeff. No, we we get him. We get him for 2 hours every Wednesday. What do you? That's not enough. Dave wants some more. More Jeff.
Well, I don't think that it's not like there should be a ban on Jeff being on this show,
Oh, here it is.
Jeff, would you like to come on and tell us what we're doing wrong? Since
there's no. Yeah, I mean, we tried it. Like I've been, like the Babylon 5 show. We've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to, we're trying to expand out a little bit more, not have the same, revolving 5 group of people all the time. So that's why we had Jill. And we got a bunch of people on on the other show. And what I've tried to do with this show is me and Cam, and then maybe bring on a person every once in a while. And I prefer that to be like once out of every 4 shows, something like that. We have a show that is a guest show. Someone who comes in.
A topic specialist, I think, is what you prefer.
A guest who's a topic specialist. We have a topic that's science fiction related, and that one Jill was perfect, right? Because she knows a lot about Star Trek. She likes Star Trek, and we purposely picked that for her. Miles Morales. Peter Parker is the only Spider-Man. Oh, I don't know where that came from.
But it's true nonetheless.
I would agree. The only animation for me was Fat Albert. Okay, well, come on. There's more than. I mean, there's a lot of American animation that we grew up with that would be in the same.
What about Super Friends? Did you like Super Friends?
Super Friends, yeah, like the same area as Fat Albert. It wasn't Smurfs. They're not Japanese.
The Pac-Man show.
Pac-Man. What else? G.I. Joe, Transformers. They're all American animation. Yeah, we. All right, we just
shameless plug.
Jeff,
good.
Shameless plug. There you go. Yeah, put that up there. Yeah. So, Jeff does his show all about tabletop stuff, and he often has guests on there. And sometimes the guests hate other guests that are going to be on in the future.
Well, okay. Is your show time perhaps? Okay, that's a fair point, Dave. That's something. I was grilling Snob this week, and should I tell him what I said, or should I keep that secret?
What? I don't know. What do you mean?
I said, "Hey, man, this show isn't really getting a lot of traction." And
it's hit or miss. It is hit or miss sometimes. Yes.
Let's be honest. We're in an algorithmic black hole, or we just suck. I don't know which, but let's say the show doesn't suck. Just for the, I know this is like a wild fantasy, but let's pretend that this show is hitting. Like, man, we are making points that no one else has made.
If only people knew about the show.
It
would be bigger than God.
Okay, but even if it was, you're not going to beat this algorithmic problem. YouTube is if anything getting worse with it. It's like you cannot dig out of your doldrums. This is a small channel. It's not likely to blow up, right? You're not going to be nerd erotic. You're not going to be, any of these other things. And
I will destroy them.
Well, there are channels that have garbage content, nothing content, just schlock, not an original thought out there. And they can have 10,000 subs easy, right? They play some videos from some Pop-Tart and suddenly they have, all these, subscribers or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you have a channel that like catches a little bit of a wave and gets, let's say, 10,000, 15,000 views on something, it doesn't necessarily translate to anything after that. That's it. It's, there's a blip and it's gone, and I'm not concerned about this at all because I don't run a channel. And there's a reason I don't run any channels is because I think honestly, it's a dead end. I mean, and I'm not trying to discourage people from doing it because I'm saying do it because you love doing it or like doing it at least, right? Because and not this isn't even about this channel. The odds of succeeding, regardless of the quality of your content on YouTube, are extremely low because of YouTube.
Well, let's just define success being as in making a lot of money.
Well, or even getting moderately high views. Let's say you don't make money, but would you not love to have 1,000 views per episode at this point? Would that not be like a miraculous, increase? Yeah.
Well, it'd be about a 5 to 7 times increase.
Right. Or more for this particular show. But you're not making money off of that, right?
Oh no,
off 1,000 views, you're not going to get squat from it.
No, you might make. If you're monetized, you might make a tiny bit, maybe. I don't know.
Right, but nothing, enough to cover your costs on other, incidentals and such, right?
Yeah.
And we get a few kindly memberships from our friends like Weatherman, and things like that, But it's just it's you have about a 1 in a million chance of a channel ever making real money, right? Well, less than 1 in a million, maybe. So that's not even, it's not about money necessarily. It's just about having viewers that want to watch what you do. Again, you guys who do tune into the show, it's no joke. We do joke about it, but it's like, oh, one viewer has showed up. Okay, we're good to go. Because talking to nobody it's demoralizing, right? I mean, it's just literally the difference between 0 and 1 is everything. That's the way I feel about it, at least. What do you think, Snub?
Yeah, we do the show for the people. I mean, because we want to discuss these things. Would I like to make money doing this? Sure, it'd be great. Do I think it's going to happen? I mean, maybe in some universe, but it's not likely. Not probable. So I'm not really worried about that. It's just, when you do something that you like and you want to share it with people, of course you want people to enjoy it with you. Right now this is kind of, hey, we're talking to people and that regularly come out and they want to hear us and we want to hear from them. So, yeah. I wanted to address, the show start time 11 p.m. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. for me because I'm Mountain Time, but it's like 11 p.m. Eastern, and maybe it is a problem. Maybe I'm not adverse to moving the time and the show, the Sunday night show if I have to, but that's not something that I'm just gonna do willy nilly. Like I got to think about it, and I would tell people about it, that kind of thing. Yeah, streaming is a hobby. It's a hobby adjacent to my other hobbies. Yeah. That's a good point. But it wouldn't be nice to be able to cover your hobby with a little bit of money if you could make it. But you're right. It's a hobby. I agree with Jeff.
Okay, I've been on that boat forever of doing things I like without any kind of. Even when I've been offered money for things, I've turned it down in regards to hobbies.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, once it becomes a job, it changes it, right?
Yes, and I will tell you this much in regards to board gaming.
Yeah.
I was offered money to do things, and you're right. There is a lot of that. It's like, and suddenly I become someone's employee. It's like, well, I don't want to be your employee. I just want to do this because I have something to contribute and you value it. And once that's no longer true, then I no longer do it. Right. Or once it's no longer fun to me, I no longer do it. When you're paid for something, it becomes an obligation.
Yeah. Sure.
But that's not even how I started. It was like, there was no payment on the table when I started doing that. And obviously there's no payment on the table here, because Canadian dollars aren't worth anything. But that's another story. But the point is, you do it's a matter of motivation and things
All
though
this
too.
Canadian bashing. Wow.
I'm only speaking the truth.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Let me just. No, Jeff. I'm considering changing things up on the channel with the times and the day of the week and all that stuff. I'm considering it. That doesn't mean I am doing anything and no decisions are made. But I'm not against it. That's what I'm saying.
Magishir is saying, but you use sexy thumbnails. Okay, look, I am not sure I'm the first person that ever suggested it, but the whole Sydney Sweeney bit was based on the fact that Jason on his channel kept bringing up Sydney Sweeney, not me. And so I said, hey, fine, you go with that. Play the algorithmic game. Go with Sydney Sweeney stuff, right? That's something to do. And of course, it has turned into it being about me and Sydney Sweeney, of which I have no particular interest, beyond the obvious. Anyway, that's neither there. But yeah, even those games don't work. I mean, they don't work for some. They're not going to pull a small channel up, right? I mean, if you guys notice, Yellow Flash, he has quite a large channel. He has Sydney Sweeney in his thumbnails all the time, but he's already big. He's boosting. It's not that's fine. His relatively high numbers higher. It doesn't work for someone. I mean, you're literally below the point of notice, in terms of algorithm. You just do not get noticed at all.
Yeah.
These other people that are playing the algorithm game, it's because they're in the game.
Yeah.
We're not, and it's not like we will be. So, but okay. So I think that just has to be accepted at this point. You do it because you enjoy doing it, and maybe the audience, as modest as they are, enjoys doing it too. I mean, Snob, wouldn't you say that's we got our friends here, and some others that aren't. We appreciate. I mean, we genuinely appreciate them showing up for this, right? I mean, I do.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Let me just couple comments. Maybe you guys cover UFOs. I would cover UFOs, but it tends to be crazy conspiracy stuff and just like out there. And that's not
never do UFOs.
That's not what I want to do. I don't want to do crazy conspiracy and become the ancient aliens of what the History Channel or whatever they do.
JT's killing me.
Yeah. I'm going to bring in Jeff here in a second. Okay. I mean, PB is sort of, this is the, PB always cuts to the quick of the choice not to me, chase quality content or chase money. Chasing money is low hanging fruit. Chasing content and views may eventually come. I mean, I think that's a good point. And, Cam and I have talked about this. And you look at the, Nerdrotic, Disparu, as all those guys. And, hey, they've got good channels and they do good content. But you notice that they're always talking about the same stuff. It's always, whatever the thing is that is being done crappy or sucks or whatever, or is good or whatever it is. And I don't mind talking a little bit about that. But what I wanted to do on this channel was go one step deeper, instead of being on there and always like, oh, this new Star Wars, Star Trek show sucks and it's really stupid. We can do that a little bit. But I wanted to go a little bit deeper than that and look at that, because that stuff comes and goes, and that's just, everybody does it. And you're probably not going to compete with those people anyway, because they are, they're huge now, and
and you're never going to catch up to them. But I agree 100% on that. It's, again, I don't mind people complaining about stuff. And even, I'll just name it, Nerdrotic. That's what his channel is about, largely, right? He does it well, and he covers a lot of things, and he has a wide knowledge base. So it's not just like, oh, clickbait, blah blah blah, and there are channels that do that, and he's not that. But I don't find that content.
He's there's more to it than just clickbait. He's good at it.
Yeah, right.
He's got personality. He's funny. He's got a group of people he brings on and off, and they're funny too, or they're entertaining is probably the better word.
Right. But I do want to draw a distinction. There are people that are just playing the algorithmic game, and well, I could.
Yeah.
Should I name somebody so he could strike your little channel? He wouldn't even see it, but
Ooh,
okay, I'll
if
go
he
ahead and
did,
name
then
it.
hey, that could get us viral. Yeah.
That's right. It's the quartering, right?
Oh, you're right. Oh my god.
This is a guy who is 4 years. I watched his show when it was nothing, when he's talking about magic stuff, and he's figured out the algorithmic game. He has a certain talent for that, but it's just churn. You know what I'm saying? It's he's crossed into that territory long ago.
Yeah, I agree. I used to watch him too, but
and it's just that. And there are very few, very very few YouTube channels that are successful that don't turn into that don't fall prey to it. And not just YouTube, any influencer. And as soon as somebody, falls into the influencer category, watch out. They're because that,
yeah,
it's the same thing. Well, that's their job too, Anyway, sorry.
And I think, and I think this point is good here. A small channel. I mean, if you watch Neurotic, they're never going to look at what you say. They're never going to listen to what you say. There's thousands of people on there. You're not going to stand out, right?
Well, that's a very good
kind
point.
of what we can actually have a discussion, even though we have 10 people watching right now. Like and subscribe, but we can actually have a discussion with people because there's 10 of us.
Yeah, right. And honestly, I mean, I know I've heard other channels. It's like, oh, suddenly, they do get something, and okay, let that Angel Shadow in here if he could behave himself.
I'm gonna bring him in. I was trying to find a good time to bring him in, but Cam just keeps talking.
Fine. Okay, well, let me
finish your point, Cam.
I'm interacting with the chat. I'm interacting. Hi, Jeff.
Go.
Long time no see.
Hey. Wait. I'm still not here.
Well,
am I here? Wait,
yes,
am I here now? Oh, okay. Well, damn it, I changed tabs. I was going to be like, the first thing I was going to say is...
Okay, mute him. Mute Jeff.
Cam, finish your thought.
Let me finish my thought. Outpost Nerd said, where are we at here? Never succeed, Cam, and stop. Well, yeah, you know what? I'm being honest
I'm way behind.
about it. We aren't... It's not about succeeding in those terms. It's about doing what works for our... let me just speak for myself, for my time and what's of interest. I like engaging with the chat, and seeing these different views and things and having a discussion. This is what I would do if I was sitting around with a group of my friends, right? Maybe I'll just stop there. Oh, wait, sorry. One more thing. JT said we don't jump on the negative bandwagon. Well, actually, I'm negative all the time about all kinds of things, but for us, it's not about stirring any pot. It's we're just giving our opinions.
Frustration. It's frustration.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
But
let me say that sometimes we're getting like, oh, this new movie is coming out and it's going to suck, and I'm like, well. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, and maybe it looks like it might be bad based on a trailer or something, but I don't know, and I'm not really willing to bash something until I see it or more information has come out. And I think it's it's a waste of time spending our time going, hey, some movie in 2 years is going to come out and it might suck. Who cares? Let's wait till it comes out, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
I'm glad. Before JT appreciates that, we don't want to. We don't want to jump on any bandwagons, to be honest.
No, but again, it gets back to the question: why are they doing it? Well, because that's what the algorithm likes. Do you think that these channels will be doing these clickbaity kinds of things and complaining about stuff if it didn't make them money? No, they would do something else that would make them money. So it does work. It's just it's a non-factor for us because this isn't the money-making endeavor. But PB mentions about Victor David Hansen. He's a historian, not chasing views or money, and that's not what we're talking about either. It's a non-starter, for this. It's not about how can we chase the algorithm and make money. It's just not going to happen. So that's really not what any of this is about. It's more about what the audience we do have wants to see and enjoy.
Yeah.
So, oh, hey, Jeff, what do you have to say about that?
Well, hold on. Let me just. I don't think Starkfield
Jesus.
Academy can be good with the present people working on it. It's
No,
impossible. And Victor Davis Hansen is great. Another. He's I watch a lot. He's a great historian. Another good one is Sarah Payne. She does mainly Japanese, but she's like him. Some great lectures. Jeff, go.
Kurtzman bad. JJ bad.
KK bad. There we go. We've covered it.
Oh my God. Oh,
Well, that's true.
Watsy bad.
That is kind of true, but
Yes.
The thing is that
it's boring though.
It gets old after a while. You can only be negative so much. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I had high hopes when Disney bought Star Wars. I was let down like everybody else was. I'm not going to make any bones about it. JJ Lensflare, that's my name for him now. JJ Lensflare. He did one movie, I guess that was okay in the Star Trek universe. Then he kind of went off the rails. He doesn't finish anything.
Which one?
I think the first one. I don't know. I don't even remember.
It was crap from day one.
But the thing is, we can bitch about things, but I also like on my channel, I want to focus on that's the positive stuff too. There's a lot of good stuff that's out there that can come that needs the light to reach it. And so that's kind of why I could just sit there and we could bitch about Watsy every Sunday, right? Couldn't we, Cam?
Absolutely.
But you know what? It's not gonna change them.
Right.
They're not gonna listen to us. I mean, who the hell are we? So it's like, hey, how about we'll still gripe about stupid shit every now and again, but let's highlight some of the positive stuff that's out there. The OSR community is amazing with tabletop stuff, and let's spotlight the positive stuff, if we can.
Well, yeah, and your channel, I'm sorry, your show and Snob Show. Well, it's definitely your channel. You can say it's our show, but
our show.
Sorry, I'll post one thing. Absolutely, it is absolutely the consumer's place to say, hey, JJ Trek, for example, sucks, or Disney sucks, blah blah blah. And so I think that's no question about that. We were more talking about, the attempt to keep rehashing the same thing. Again, anyone has a right to do that too. You're welcome to it. It's just not what this is about. Like Jeff just said, and I think it's common between the Snob's channel and Tennessee Tabletop Tavern and Jason's channel for that matter, is to talk about these other things. Snobs is about trying to highlight sci-fi and get people interested in that, and Jeff, is about good game, good role-playing games and other opportunities that are out there, and
stuff that's interesting, that's right. New, and that might have something, a different perspective, a different take, or even something old that was like, hey, bring it up, just like Snob does. And it's like, hey, remember this great old movie? Have you seen this? You haven't seen it? You should see this.
Well, like 2010, we were just talking. I was raving about it. I'm not that positive about anything, but last week I was gushing over how much I
liked it. You're always Mr. Positivity. Come on.
Or the Forbin Project. Again, this is a movie from the late 60s,
right,
or early 70s. These are, I knew about 2010. I didn't know about Forbin Project. So I love when we run into something like that, and I like being excited about things.
I've read the trilogy. I've read 2064 or whatever. Isn't that the
last
2061? No, it was 2061 and then 3001.
Yeah. Okay. I've read at least the trilogy. I don't think I've read the fourth book, because I don't think that was considered part of the trilogy, because it would.
Yeah, they kind of go off after a while.
But I had them in hardback as a teenager, and I read all of them, and they were great.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
I read Dune. I read Dune, several of the Dune books. I haven't read
Right.
any of the newer ones,
And,
but
I mean, I imagine, Snob, you would be delighted if somebody said, "Hey, I read this book because I saw you guys talking about," or I read. Maybe they knew about the Dune movies. Oh, I read the novels though because I heard you talk about it on your show,
Yeah,
or
of course.
2001
That's
or
the whole
whatever.
idea. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with what Jeff said, and I am going to, the channel's not going to change. We're not going to. First of all, it would be useless to try to catch
right.
a Nerdrotic or one of these guys now. It's
Oh, never.
impossible.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't anyway, because that's not what I intend to do. I'm not here to. I
Are
mean,
we going to be canceled by the quartering?
would
That's
it
all
be
I want to
nice?
know.
Oh,
Oh,
come on.
yeah.
Would it be if it would be a great please come and cancel us, then we would be viral. I mean,
But coffee brand coffee.
we'd probably be at 10,000 subs tomorrow because everyone would go, what, trying to cancel another guy, what's he
Oh,
picking on
shit.
these little guys for? Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be, it would
Hey,
be, we're not going to change, and we're gonna keep going at this because this is what I believe in. We're not going to chase the algorithm.
I think we've earned every sub we have by doing it the honest and hard way.
Yeah, you could say
You
that.
know, and
I mean, if you want to talk about, I mean, we're getting into the YouTube stuff here, but look, there's 10 people watching the show right now, and we've got 720 subs, right?
Right.
Now you have, you can go on, you can find, people with twice as many subs, 3 times, 10,000 subs, and they will have a live show, and they will have, 10, 15, 20. You've got 10,000 subs, you got 20 people watching. Well, you got 700 subs, and you got 10 people watching. I mean, I'm not, it's not trying to brag or whatever. But the thing is that there's something to be said about having a good audience and the amount of people subbed. You've got all these subs, but none of them participate. What's the point?
It's not too different from the conversation we were having on the show earlier. Which, if anybody didn't check it out, please check it out because Stephen Clements is great, and he's already given me a referral for an author that I've already passed on to Jason, and Jason's intrigued. So, we help each other out. But the thing is that we try to coordinate and cooperate with each other, and we don't always want to be the Debbie Downers. That my God, it's so boring after a while to watch everything. It's like the D&D movie. I loved the D&D movie. It was great. Yeah, there was things I would have preferred. Maybe it been a little more thematically correct, and I know this is not sci-fi, but I would have liked it to been maybe more. I hate to use this word, but realistic or more true to form. But it did kind of remind me of playing a D&D game, and
Yeah.
the same thing can be said for anything. And it's like when I watched Superman, the new Superman, I loved the new Superman. Yes, I like the James Gunn Superman. I am not going to sit there and hate on James Gunn just because he has different opinions than me on certain things or whatever. I enjoyed it as a consumer. I
I
went
mean,
and saw it twice.
I think you should judge the work as opposed to the person. I believe that.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about the quartering. I don't think he's going to worry.
No, I'm not worried about it. He's kind of on a rapid downslide right now because he went after people.
Yeah, PB's talking here about the 2001 novels. I don't think I've read 3001. I'm not sure if I've read 2061 either. It's been a long time, but yeah. They were explaining the story. They weren't really a trilogy. It's been so long.
Well, I mean, to me, it was presented to me as a trilogy, and I bought them. I bought the hardcover little books. They're not hard reads. They're not overly. It's not Dune, okay? And C. Arthur Clarke was kind of a little bit on the genius scale when it came to some of the ideas that he's presented. There's a reason why there's a belt named after him as the Clark belt, because he had some great vision back at a time when
Well, yeah, when sci-fi authors were way different then, right? It's like, him and Asimov and Bradbury. It's
Yeah.
these guys were tuned into science. Science. This was this
thought-provoking
era
stuff.
of it, right?
Yeah, I actually, for Clark, I like Rendezvous with Rama better than 2001, to be honest.
Maybe I should read that. I have not read that one.
I'm more drawn to that. Okay, real quick, it's a giant asteroid starts coming towards Earth and it starts decelerating. So that one from whatever, that asteroid that came a couple
whatever,
years ago.
blah blah blah.
Yeah, and people were talking about it.
Ago.
That's
yeah.
basically the story of they call the it's a spaceship. It's not an asteroid. They call it Rama, which after an Indian god, I think an Indian god. And they go. The story is about sending an expedition to explore it. And they get on and they go into the ship, and there's all kinds of weird stuff in there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cam has volunteered to go to prison. Cam, what do you want to go for? Drugs? Whatever you want. Sci-fi and fantasy are not the same. No, wrong.
No, well, I mean, in a way, they are both tapped into the human psyche, the human spirit, in a way, and I think. Should we crack out the Venn diagram again? But I mean, you look at what do you think? What was the first? What did we say was the first sci-fi, or the first?
Thanks, Mr. Milquetoast. Good to see you.
I'm
sorry. What was the first science fiction novel?
Yeah.
Jeff, didn't you watch that show?
Yeah, I did, but I don't remember. I got CRS, dude. I'm old.
Good. You got to go back and watch the show. Well, basically, I mean, there's a bunch of different ones. There's some stuff from
Mary Shelley,
1,000 years ago, for a couple thousand years ago.
Some Egyptian
but
stuff.
Basically, mostly people say it would be like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein would be the time frame, would be the first science fiction. But it's.
But that's also kind of the first horror too. So it's like there is a lot of overlap between sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. And I think fantasy has been around probably the longest, just because of human history and envisioning things. But a lot of fantasy can be transcribed into horror. If you look at Appendix N by Gary Gygax, which of course was evolving throughout many editions. He didn't just list Lord of the Rings. In fact, Lord of the Rings was even deliberately left off the list from the beginning and was later on added in. He listed stuff like, some of the post-apocalyptic stuff, the Conans and some of that stuff that was, dying Earth, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was it sci-fi? Is it fantasy? And if you look at even a lot of the early D&D stuff, some of the early modules, there was sci-fi elements thrown in. There were spaceships in some of the early modules. There was, so it was kind of like, it's an amalgamation. So I think there's a lot of crossover between all three genres. So I think they're all definitely tangentially related,
No. Okay. I was going to say, I think I can put this on here. I appreciate that, JT. We try to keep things classy and light, and that's what we want. In interesting conversations. That's what we want to do, and we appreciate anybody who, we appreciate that you appreciate it. I mean, if you guys, the things that get you, I mean, I would like this channel to be, quote, more successful for the reason of that I think we do good stuff, and I would like more people to be able to be exposed to it. Oh, Cam, you're hammering away.
Oh, yeah, sorry. He is.
And
does that.
so, I mean, there's not, what can we do about it? Not much, but if you guys, if anybody wants to share the channel with other people, if you can, like the channel, and even leaving comments on the after the show, it's good for helps push us up a little bit in the algorithm. I know it's every little bit helps.
Comments do help. Likes help. Subscribes, of course, help, because subscribes is how we have to. Sci-fi during the Renaissance. Well, I mean, there's sci-fi in the Bible. If you want to, there's stuff that could be considered sci-fi, and I think it was Ezekiel or whatever. People have interpreted it as that. Now, I'm not trying to be. Oh, what's the word? HIPAA, whatever. I don't know. Any rate, but there's Cam is abusing that Commodore. God.
Yeah. Here's a link to the history of sci-fi. As Jeff was talking about, there's some science fiction from a couple thousands years ago first written, but there's some weird stuff about going to other planets and that. But check that out. Usually people would say Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but there's some other options in there.
I think that would be maybe the first instance of modern sci-fi, and maybe also perhaps modern horror. But I think maybe if you make a distinction between modern versus archaic or because there's been stuff. I mean, how long is when was Vlad the Impaler running around? That's horror, right? That's not sci-fi exactly.
Well, it's more history.
Yeah. Well, Vlad the Impaler, was Count Jakku.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is considered sci-fi because it's got its elements of science. He doesn't use magic, right? He's using electricity. He's digging up body parts,
natural
putting
philosophy
together. There's actually, of course, there's a horror element, but it's one of the first, times within, the modern time, not counting these ones that were a few thousand years ago, where someone actually used science and said, "Hey, we can use science. Let's throw some electricity through this guy, and we can make him come back to life." So that's why it's kind of considered.
What's that saying, Cam? That magic is just science. That.
Well, that was Arthur C. Clarke, right?
So Arthur C. Clarke said that any
sufficiently advanced science is
sufficiently advanced science technology would be indistinguishable from magic. Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
PB, I think you have a good point here, and I agree with this wholeheartedly. To me, the best science fiction stories are about humans, or about society, and it uses that science fiction as a background and setting, and it's about what would our society be like if this piece of technology came into being or was advanced like this. And the classic ones are stuff like cloning and AI. What would our society look like if we had AI that was like this? What would our society be like if we had clones that were like this? How would it change us? And so that's when Cam pulls out the diagram, which I don't think I have up on the graphics here. I don't think I can pull it up. I should put it in here. That's stupid of me. My mistake. I'll have to fix that. But I mean, that's the third bottom circle, which is the effect it is on society. Like, that's the storytelling.
It's introspective and reflective of ourselves, but it can also be forward thinking and what if the future. We can look at ourselves today and see how we are. And that's one of the things that both, I think, fantasy and sci-fi both share, and horror for that matter. But there's also that forward thinking about what if, how about this? What if this was a possibility? I mean, there's a lot of things. Just look at Star Trek. You look at Star Trek and a lot of the concepts in Star Trek back in the 60s effectively became reality, and in some cases we've already surpassed them and gone beyond them, and now we're looking even further beyond the line.
Well, there is I've said this before myself, but there is a theory that says that Scientists don't make the future. It's actually science fiction writers, because you need to be able to imagine something can exist before you can make it exist. So, for example, if we didn't have any birds flying on this planet, we probably would have never invented flight, because we wouldn't think it would be possible.
There would have been
So,
no inspiration for it.
That's
yeah.
why
So,
Cornelius says that flight is impossible.
yeah.
There's no birds in.
No, he did say flight was impossible, but not because of that.
Oh,
Mr. Milk Toast, let me just address this. I don't 100% agree, because there are different levels to science fiction. Usually people call it either harder or soft science fiction, with harder science fiction being more focused on how things work. And, it's the authors. I mean, the authors are making it up, because they don't.
Well, no,
some basis in reality.
I will largely agree with this comment, because it has to be plausible, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be realistic, even. I mean, that's the difference between hard and soft, right? Is if it's realistic, it's hard. If it's not, it's soft. But I agree that when it's just, this is without any attempt to make it plausible, then I would say it's more fantasy.
Space wizards and laser swords versus photon torpedoes and transportation, transport beams.
So I would not agree with that, Cam. I'd say that generally speaking, the difference between hard and soft science fiction is the amount of time the author tries to explain or give a scientific background for something. So, for example, a guy like Larry Niven, who's I think he was a physicist. The hard science fiction guys spend a lot of time coming up with plausible reasons why this could exist or how it works. And the soft guys will just say, "And we flew in a spaceship." You would call that fantasy, but I wouldn't. I would still consider that science fiction, but that would be very, very soft. We got our spaceship, we flew to here. I fired my laser gun at him, and there's no discussion or
but in that case, the world. Okay, it's a world where this is that straight line kind of thing, right? It's like we have rocket ships. We know that you could fly into space. Okay, now this is just more rocket ship. This is more advanced spaceship, where it doesn't necessarily require a reader that is familiar with that from the point of when it's actually told. Like today, you don't need to explain how a rocket goes around the moon.
Today, we all learned that in school.
But you would if it was written in 1500.
Jules Verne era?
Right.
What about the Jules Verne era? That was, when they, Jules Verne was, he was conceiving of the concept of rocket ships back then based upon the technology that they had available at the time. And, so it's kind of very, it's future forecast. I mean, look at William Gibson, right? I don't know if either of you guys have read any Gibson stuff or not, but
I've read most of his stuff.
Have you? I mean, I would love to. We need to get that man on, either on this channel or on Jason's channel. Hell, on my channel. I don't care. We could have him on all three. I wanted to talk to that man because I know he's getting up there in years, and I want to hear, because he is not what would you call it? He's not like an Arthur C. Clarke type person, of that visionary type thing, but yet he had these visionary things that people today use the terms, surfing the internet. Well, that's kind of a phrase that he did, surfing the net. Cyberspace was a thing that he envisioned before anybody called it that. He coined the terms, and yet he is self-admittedly like kind of a little bit of a Luddite, so.
Well, again, I like all these kinds of conversations about what is, but if I could go back a little bit to where we launched off into this, for example, it's about what works. Forget monetization, forget money in any of this. What works for the audience? Is dumb shorts about opening a advent calendar more what the audience wants to see? I mean, the numbers would indicate yes. Now, comparing long form and shorts is kind of a different thing because you could burn through 100 shorts. But the general question remains, though. What is it within what we like to do? The hosts of the show, and Jeff, same would hold true for your show.
Yeah.
Versus what the audience wants to see. And I mean, why would you do things the audience doesn't want to see? Other things being equal, right? And so that's just kind of what I wish we could figure out more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a balance between what we want to do and what the audience wants to see. There's got to be some.
Yeah, but I think it's fair to say
I'm not going to do stuff that I hate.
No. That's not about that. That's the different thing. I'm saying within the things that we do want to talk about, there's X number of things that we like to talk about. Well, maybe a third of those things are what the audience wants to talk about or enjoy seeing. And so I mean, why would we we shouldn't concentrate on things that they don't want to see when we would have common ground on things we want to do and things they want to see. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
of course. So please let us know. Let us know,
right,
guys.
Right.
I was since you brought it back to this thing, one of the things that I was going to make a comment on is where you're talking about, and I had mentioned, this is a hobby that's adjacent to our hobbies, right? This is a thing that we engage. Now, I have been employed in a position before that was legitimately tied right to a hobby that I'm in. You guys all know, hey, everybody's going to go roll their eyes. Yes, I'm a ham radio operator, right? I worked for one of the biggest, at the time, the biggest dealers that sold ham radio equipment back in the 90s, okay? And I did see a disconnect from a lot of the guys I worked with. Now, I was still young at this point in time. I think I had been in the hobby for 4 years. Okay. So 4 years I had been a ham radio operator, right? I had a license for 4 years at this point. And I'm working with these guys, and they had been in hams for 20 years longer than I had. And what I saw was a lot of them had lost that fire, that passion for the hobby because it was just a job. They were just punching a clock, and so the last thing he wanted to do when they went home was play on the radio, was play ham radio. And I could see a correlation between that and where we ourselves do not want to go. We do not want to be that. We want to still be passionate about the stuff we're talking about. And you see all these other YouTubers out there that are chasing the algorithm, and it's all about chasing the algorithm, and it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't know about you, Snob. Do you want to chase the algorithm?
No.
You don't want it to become a job.
No.
You want it to be a passion.
Yeah. Good night, Outpost. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not. I mean,
yeah, post.
Not, if this was to be a job, you'd have to make a significant amount of money.
Yeah, that's not even
without. Yeah, it's not even worth talking about. I mean, you'd have to be a neurotic to be able to do this.
Yeah, and Jeff, I'm not trying to piss on your question because it is valid, but it's just not even. It's not even a question of reality for us, right?
Right.
So obviously the only reason we're doing it is because we like it. It's just within the realm of what we like or what we choose to do for non-monetary reasons is to. Now, I guess maybe I should just shut up about this because, my choice is to do it or not, right? And it's like if I keep choosing to do it, then obviously that's something I find worthwhile, because neither of you guys are paying me, right? You asked me to do these things, and I've agreed, and that's it. But beyond that, it would be more fulfilling to be able to know to some degree that people care about what you're doing. I mean,
yeah, of course.
And this is maybe a little bit of a bug of me because
we do pay you, Cam. We do pay you. We allow you to be our friend.
Oh, okay, right.
We talk to you, right, Jeff?
That's right. Because what is more valuable than friendship? But
Yeah, absolutely. I get Cam into all kinds of neat games, and you know.
I mean,
well,
Cam wouldn't have any friends without us, right?
I maybe I've there have been things that I've put a lot of effort into trying to pursue, not necessarily monetarily, but just to get done. And uh, I had a significant number of failures on that front for things outside of my control. And at some point, it's like, why am I bothering with this? It's like I
Right.
could. It's not that I don't want to do anything. It's I could be doing something else, though. You know what I mean? And for example, Snop, like we were talking about, it's like if literally if nobody was watching and it was just the three of us sitting here talking, I,
That'd be fine, right?
well, no, it wouldn't be fine for me. It would not be
Oh,
fine. That would be fine for us to just be talking behind the scenes because it's what we want to talk about. I'm saying
Yeah.
that there's no reason to stream it. There's no reason to
Yeah,
put it on
we'd be
YouTube.
just on Discord.
There's no
or
reason to
whatever.
schedule it. There's
Yeah.
it's it's that. It's not that the discussion isn't valuable between the three of us. It's that again, being scheduled for me is a heavy burden. I hate it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm now scheduled pretty much every day of the week, outside of my
Mm.
actual job and career. You know what I mean? And I don't like it, but I like it. And I like
So
the
what
things
you're
that we
saying
do
is
enough.
I should bring Dan in more often and give you a break.
Maybe
Because Dan is like trying to, Dan and Dean, they're like, oh yeah, hey, we'll.
well, we could talk about that if there's a shows that work out better with Dan doing it than me. That I will not be offended. By
All right,
that.
we can talk about that offline. I got
Yeah. But well, I mean, the
Uh,
same old. Go ahead, Snow.
yeah. I just wanted to highlight. Finish your thought. I would highlight a couple of the comments that are
Yeah.
big, but
I'm just. I'd like people to enjoy what we spend time on. That's
Yeah.
basically it.
Yeah.
that's a normal human emotion for everyone. You spend time making something, you want people to enjoy it.
We
You
want
make a
people to
game, you
appreciate
want
it.
people, you want people to enjoy it. You make a video game, a board game, or whatever. You want people to enjoy it. You write a book, you want people to enjoy it. That's
Right.
It's no different. Make a movie, you want people to enjoy it. James mentioned sci-fi's pew pew explosions. Winner take all mustache twirling villain. I mean, I can appreciate that science fiction, but I do like a little bit deeper one that goes into social aspects and makes you think a little bit. That's my own personal. And PB, I think you're commenting sort of in that same vein. Sci-fi found mainstream success again after the Matrix. Sci-fi globally after 1980 has been dumbed down for the masses, set on Earth, simple, easy to digest slop. I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
And it's reflected even in some of the writing, some books, at least the ones that are the most popular, which is why I try to highlight some of the old stuff that was very popular but is less well known, perhaps. Cam's taking a beating in the chat. Yeah. Ouch. What are you guys a closet fan of for? For me, it's Coronation Street. Says Man Jashir. I don't know. Do you anything you want to admit to?
80s pop.
80s pop. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I like 80s pop music. I would have never admitted that in the 90s or even the 80s, but yeah.
I will say there's this. It's not really true because I don't really like this show much, but I kind of watch it as a.
You don't like your own show?
No, not this show. A show. The show that I'm going to mention. There's this show. It's by the wife watches the Hallmark Network sometimes.
Oh Lord.
This
every
show
Christmas story ever, right?
Yeah. This is it's pretty bad. Though there's this new one. There's this new series they have, which is Finding Mr. Christmas, and it's just exactly.
What did I say? Christmas. It's a Christmas.
Exactly the same. Anyway, Hallmark made a TV show, and it's starting up its third season soon, I think. And it's not a great show. I watched the first season with my wife because, anyway, it's a Hallmark time travel movie. Mm-hmm. They go into this girl, her mother, and the daughter. They go into this. They jump in this pool on their property, like a pond, and they go in and they come out like 30 years before and find out about their parents, and there's one they go back 200 years, stuff like that. So I mean, it's just not really that well written. There's some, problems with it, but it's a Hallmark time travel movie, so I started watching a little bit about it. But yeah, this is the last season for the Hallmark show. I think it's the third season. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it because it was just the writing was getting me, but I thought it was funny. I don't know if that's not really maybe it's a guilty pleasure, but I don't find it that pleasurable, so I'm not sure. But that's the closest thing I could think of offhand for your closet fan of thing. Yeah. Night, PB. Yes, you did. Hallmark and time travel in the same sentence. Yes, it's true. The problem with the show is that it keeps some of the Hallmark crap in there. Like the one guy is a simp for the girl, and he's just waiting around for all the time, and he's just like, even the women watching the show are like, man up, go find another girlfriend, dump her. Like, what are you doing? He's pining away for her the whole 2 seasons.
Really?
But yeah, it's got time travel in it, and it examines like this kid disappears, and they think the kid's 8 years old. He's at a local fair, and he disappears. It's a big thing. He's missing forever, and we find out in the second season, spoilers, that the kid fell in the pool or somehow went back in time, and he's 200 years before. He grows up. He's a boy who just shows up in their family 200 years before, and they it's like he grows up in the 200 in the 1800s.
No grandfather paradox there, huh?
So kind of
is he his own grandfather?
Not really. But there's some of there's a diary that they have, like a book that is being written about, and it's from it's written from 200 years ago. It goes through 200 years of stuff that happens to this family, and they're reading it. They're like, wait a second, this sounds weird. Hey, is this the kid? Is this about the kid? Oh, we found a new boy that shows up. He doesn't know his name. We called him George or whatever. Anyway, it's not, but there's some problems with the writing, but there are some aspects of it that are not too bad. So yeah, I'll say that. Anyway, you got to watch it if you want to. It's not something I would recommend. It's still,
Is it a guilty pleasure type thing? Or?
No, not for me, because it's not that pleasurable. It's not that good.
Okay,
that's why I say it's not.
So nothing we should do a
retrospective
on, huh?
No, I'm trying to answer Manjashir's question about being closet fan of something that you're hiding, but it's the closest thing I could think of. But anyway, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess we should sum up and be, unless somebody's got something that we missed. We're hitting our mark here. So
yeah,
the main thing is, thanks to 100 episodes. Wow, that's like basically 2 years.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I mean, you just got to stick it out and you get there. It's not like you can get canceled. But
keep
over this
talking about
time,
the quarter.
Oh yeah. Is that show better or worse than the Lake House? I don't know what the Lake House is. I can't answer. But
we're coming up on
maybe I'll get. I keep forgetting the name because the name is like out of something time, something all the time. I can't ever remember the name.
Yeah,
stick with me, but I'll find out next week. I'll
man at a time.
A little bit about it. Anyway, So we appreciate. Most podcasts don't last as long. Yeah, I guess.
Really.
We appreciate you guys coming in, and we want feedback. Let us know if we are, if you like the tones of the show. I guess I don't know. You tend to think if people aren't complaining, then they don't hate it. But then again, if they hate it, they just don't show up. So if you have good suggestions for drop for what you show ideas, or hey, there should be more tool stuff, there should be less tool stuff, there should be more of this or less of that, or whatever. I think that I don't know that it'll make too much changes to the show. Maybe we might consider moving it around, maybe a better time slot, and trying to get some of the things that I mentioned. I'll just real quickly, I've told this to Cam. I think I might have mentioned this in the show. I see sort of 4 shows that we'd like to do. We'd like to do a monthly movie night for sure. I like those. I think they go pretty good. Maybe we can make them a bit better, but we'd still like to do it. I'd like to have a show where Cam and I would bring in one person and we talk about another person and talk about something specific about where they're an expert in, usually another YouTuber or something, and we talk about whatever it is that area, and we push that ahead. And then maybe another show where we dig a little deeper into something, a question.
Deep dive.
Yeah, a little bit. Something would be like, like, is Star Trek really a dystopia? Like, there's an interesting question that you could spend, talking about as an
Is
example.
it dystopia? Wow, that's a deep comment.
Yeah. Is Star Trek really a utopia? Is it a dystopia? There you go. And then something else, which we kick around. But Lake House is a sci-fi travel romance movie from the early. That sounds kind of like this show, actually. Thanks, Neutron. Appreciate it. There's always room for more tools. I like the tool segment. I want
the tool segment is my favorite part. Well, next to the jokes.
I like the tool segment. So
I want
jokes. I want Cam to do more of them if he wants to, but I don't pay him, so I can't twist his arm and make him do anything.
What do I do? I need to start going to Harbor Freight and like buying the newest, latest, cool stuff that they keep on emailing me about, trying to get me to buy? Is that what I need to do, Cam?
Maybe. Well, not to keep going on and on, but that's a good question. It's like, again, I don't mind talking about tools. It's like, it's not a ton of effort, but it is a little bit of effort. It's like, if people like it, then the effort's worth it. If they don't, it's not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm the same way, hey, if anybody has an idea for stuff for my channel, as long as it kind of is tabletop adjacent, I've talked about, maybe getting
Dice reviews. Dice reviews.
X reviews?
Dice reviews.
Dice reviews. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, we're sponsored by Only Crits. And if you use the code Bad News Bards, you can save up to 15%.
Whose show is this? Come on.
Oh wait, sorry.
So with tool time, I mean, we could do with Cam's tool. We could, we kind of bounce back and forth between this. Maybe we should do something every week where it would be like a 2-minute to 5-minute thing. Hey, here's the tool. Or maybe we should do it every couple weeks, and it would be a little more long.
Maybe we could do like some pre-recorded stuff to play at certain points. Like with a pre-recorded video, and then later on release maybe that video as a separate thing. I've thought about that too on for some of my stuff. Just thoughts about blah. Whatever. And you could play it during the show, kind of premiere it during the show, and then put it out as a solo video later on. Releasing after the show airs, and then referring, of course, to the show. There's a lot of things, but I think we're all we want to cater to you, but still be true to ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want to be something I'm not.
Yeah. And JT, those aren't scripted. Those aren't scripted.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. My anger is all genuine.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yes, yes it
thanks,
is.
Manchester. Thanks. We're going to keep plugging away at it as best we can. All right, Jeff, do you want to say you can do a little quick promo time? We're ending the show. Quick promo.
Oh, you're gonna end the show already?
Yeah, it's been 2 hours.
Okay. Well, I guess
we will seek the balance.
Look at that. Ha! I have a real camera. So yeah, next week on the Bad News Bards, Sunday at 9 p.m. before Toplofty Lounge, we have
intro to the show.
Yeah, we have the Gooey Cube folks who did Tomb of Geisengax, and we have Alphinius Goo and Camera Mandy on, and we maybe have a special guest coming on, sort of. Hopefully he's going to make it this time and not just be teasing us. But Yeah, we may have somebody whose name rhymes with guys and gags. Not really rhymes, but at any rate. Yeah, so that'll be next Sunday. On May 3rd, Cam. May 3rd, right? Told you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I know. You sound thrilled. Any rate, so that's gonna be that. But we have a show, Babylon 5. We're coming up on wrapping up season 3, aren't we? Wednesday?
Getting close to it.
No. It's not over Wednesday. We got like 4 more episodes, I think. But
4 or 3 or something like that. Yeah, we're counting down the numbers though. We're coming up, but we're gonna have to start looking for another show to do a retrospective on. Firefly, anyone? What?
So okay, so this week, Wednesday, next episode of Babylon 5. Cam, do you know what episode it is? It's a better episode. It's not one of the crappy episodes.
let's see. We've got. It's gonna take 3 seconds to find it. I forget the name. It is. And the rock cried out, "No hiding place." Episode 20.
Episode 20. 3 episodes till the 3 more episodes left in the season. That's it.
Yep.
The rock
I told
cried
you.
out. Yeah.
I was right.
It should be a good one. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah. Yeah. And next week on this show, Cam and I will talk about it. We might be doing we kind of want to do the digital circus because we think it's good, but I mean you guys don't really like it, but we'll see what we can do.
It's not my thing. I can tell you that. I tried.
Yeah.
I watched it. I was like, okay. I'll watch it. I like
Did you watch episode 3?
What? Huh? What? I don't even know what network it's on.
I
watch your show. I don't watch it.
You can see it on YouTube or Netflix. But episode 3 was the one where I was like, oh, okay. This I kind of. It was my favorite.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. We will keep coming back. And hey, if you want to help us out, push us up in the algorithm a little bit, like subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends. If we even bring, I know some of you might be worried that you're going to get less attention if we get too many people on the show, but don't worry. All the regulars, the people who've been here with us from the beginning, which is everybody here, you will always have a special place in Cam's heart. And mine too. Yeah. All right. That's it. Cam, do you have anything before we sign off?
Nope. Appreciate everybody coming.
All right, that's it for the show. And as for respect for Cam and as our 100 celebration, we will have no jokes.
Wait.
We want to end on a good note. So no jokes.
Wait
tonight.
a second now. I just
Thanks,
sent
everybody.
a super chat. I want jokes.
That's too bad. I didn't prep any.
What do you mean you didn't? You didn't mean what? What do you mean?
All right. Well, I guess you'll have to get. Thanks for the super chat, Jeff. We'll have to get your jokes next week. Tell you what, we'll do double next week. All right.
Oh my God. Yeah, sure.
Oh, by the way, I'm not available next week.
Cam won't be here, so just be me. All right. Good night, everybody.
Well, hey, if you're looking for a new co-host,
I'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
See you guys.